How are you putting? Okay, so as a dad, you get a case on a guy that's assaulting children, taking pictures, videos, whatever it may be, and all the sick shit that they do. How do you process it as a dad? Because you have to go through all the photos and everything, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so not even just as a dad, just as a human being, how are you able to look at that shit and just put it away?
You don't. For me, I could never put that away, dude. I could never, like, it was hard, man. I would see pictures, or um it was this one time where I was talking to this girl. She was 18, but she was raped by her biological father since she was 6 years old, all the way to 16. And she didn't say anything for the longest time.
Oh my God.
And I remember when I was conducting the investigation and I was interviewing her. And there was this one interview where it lasted maybe close to an hour. And I'm just trying to write everything down. She starts to break down. She starts to cry. And, you're just a human being. At that point, I broke down, man. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I couldn't take it.
How do you not?
Because she had 2 sisters and I had 3 girls. And, I just lost it, man. And I'm trying to kind of stay with her at the same time. And I'm trying to kind of hold it together and do the best you can. You just do your best. You just do your best, dude. And there's no perfect way to process any of that. In fact, I don't know, like, I'm sure that there's ways that people, different ways that people kind of separate themselves. But to me, I couldn't do that. I couldn't.
How do you separate looking at images, videos of children? And I've kind of mentioned this before. It's like people don't think like, oh, they caught this predator. But then when you catch the predator, obviously you're getting into their phones, you're getting in hard drives. Then it's not that it just ends there. There could be thousands. Because I had a woman come on and she talked about her current husband at the time was molesting her children from another marriage. And when he got caught, there was thousands and thousands of AI generated images, pictures of kid. Like, so then that falls on you. So now you have to go through each individual photo, correct?
Mm-hmm.
How are you doing that?
You just do it because it's obviously your job, number one. But then you also too, like, the way I thought about it, like the way I processed it was, I'm thinking about giving justice to this victim. And that was the only way I was able to get through that investigation. In the back of my mind, I'm like, I'm delivering justice to her and her family. She doesn't have a voice. She's helpless, and I am her only hope. So that is the only driving force to me that I had, that I was able to, I could hang on to and be like, hey, this is why I'm doing this, is because of her. Because if I don't do this, and if I don't see through it all the way, and I don't complete this investigation as best I can, then she is going to have a harder time. She's already going to have a hard time dealing with this. When that woman gets married and she's got kids and she's got a relationship and she goes off to get married, it's not going to be easy, man, especially everything that she's gone through. So if I can just do this little thing for her, hopefully I can make her life maybe 10% better, right?
Or help possibly do with closure. This guy's got life now, or he's doing 30.
And he ended up getting life. We ended up, we cracked open this big case. And when I ended up arresting, it was 2 suspects involved in that case. And when we ended up arresting them, they got convicted and now they're serving life. At that point, I was like, okay, she's got some closure now. And this was, hey, look at me. This is what I'm doing. This is all for her and her family and her mother and her siblings. Right. So for me, I'm like, this is what that family needs. And when I finally did that, it kind of just gave me chills. It gives me chills now just talking about it. I'm like, oh my gosh, because her sisters got molested too. So all 3 sisters were victims of rape. And I knew the family was struggling. The mother was struggling. And I can't imagine what that mom was going through. I really can't, and
what's sad too is a lot of these cases you find out the moms knew what was going on. A lot of moms turn just
Yeah. This mom here, she had
Yeah,
no
yeah.
clue.
Well, I'm saying that, yeah, thank God, but at the time, or maybe she should have found out, but it's just, yeah, I'll see these things. My wife will watch stuff and she's like, yeah, the mom knew the whole entire time. It's like, what the and then the cops were having to go and put that piece together. And
Yeah.
yeah, I just, there's a special place in heaven for people that have to process any crimes against children.
Yeah.
It's
So
just, I don't know. I'm trying to find somebody right now. I'm talking to a guy to bring out, because I just want to talk about everything. And that's because it's such a terrifying world. And in us as a society, we just want to, it's nothing anybody wants to talk about, but
yeah, we just want to push it aside.
the amount of evil and the level of evil that's out there preying on children, it's just like, people need to hear what is going on. Because, and then you got the cops, man. Like, this is where I feel, I'm not a huge advocate of AI, but I feel AI this is one of those tools that, like, put this in the system and scan it and break it down, so you don't have to have some officer going through gigs and terabytes of child pornography that some piece of shit's been gathering over the last 10 years and buying off the dark web. And now some dad's got to sit there and go through each individual photo and video. It's just, I don't know. I don't know how. I try to wrap my head around that. And that's one of those things where if I got assigned to it, I'm resigning. Like, that would ruin me. It would ruin my life if I had to look at images like that.
And I think the only thing that actually fuels you to do something like that is to think about the victims. That's the only thing that
you have to. What else are you hanging on to?
Nothing. And then, you start to develop this hate and this resentment towards that particular group of people who do this.
Yeah, which probably doesn't take much.
No, and you got so much that goes on in your mind that you want to do to them, right? And you're like, dude, you just destroyed
this child's life.
Dude.
Because people don't, I mean, let's kind of dive deep into this a little bit, but like, people don't realize a child gets taken advantage of. You've just taken their soul. I mean, that the child's ruined. Then say it's a young little girl, when she grows up one day and is intimate with somebody or wants to start a family,
she's not going to know what to do. She's not going to have
the trauma that comes along, especially your dad's been molesting you your whole the majority of your childhood.
Somebody who you love, somebody who you trust,
supposed to be your protector and provider, is taking advantage of you as a child and your sisters. And how do you even?
You're not going to be able to have a functioning, normal marriage or relationship after that.
I don't know how. I don't, and I'm not speaking for people of victims by any means, but it's just but then you look at a lot of these people that are doing it, they were molested as children. Like, hurt people, right?
Yeah.
So
that's exactly what it is.
And now you just took this child's soul. The chances of them doing the same thing down the road, I don't know how high it is, but it's got to be enough where there's got to be stats on that. How many people are victim to become?
It's just a revolving evil loop.
Yeah, and it never ends, and it's just. I don't know. I feel so horrible when I hear these cases where I have moms come on the show. I as a dad, I don't even know how to. I don't even know how I would process that.
And you can't. It's something that you can. It's something that kind of just stays with you forever.
For sure.
Right. But again, I go back, Brian. I go back, and so when I have something like that, I go back and I remind myself, hey, the world is not that bad. Not that bad. That this is just a selective group of people. For sure. Who are just evil, who don't, and I'm not trying to make an excuse for them, but they just honestly, in a sense, they don't know any better. That's all they know. It's just evil, right?
I'm with you that they're all evil, but that's all they don't know any better. Like,
because their mind is so small.
I get what you're saying,
and they're just selfish, and
they're a product of their environment. They've probably been raped their whole entire life, molested, especially these young men that are getting taken advantage of by uncles and dad, whatever else. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I get. It's hard to process when you're like, it's all they know. There's
well, and that's the way I see it too. It's like, hey, like they're not even human beings, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I consider them honestly like just animals.
For sure, they're a predator.
They're primal, just instinctive creatures who just look out for what satisfies them in the moment and in their
prey on the weak.
Exactly. So for them, they're in a whole different category.
Does it feel pretty good when you build a case on somebody and end up getting life?
Oh my gosh, something like that 100%. 100%. Like that right there, even when they got convicted, man, I just, I kind of, it was this sense of like just this big weight lifted off my shoulders. And I was able to tell that family, wasn't like, hey, look at me, but I was finally able to tell that family, like, you're never ever going to see that person again. You're never going to see that person again. That person's locked up. What does that mean? Well, it means that you're safe. It means that you're safe in this whole world. I still keep in contact with that family.
Oh,
And
okay.
this was 7 years ago, and the mom still emails me almost monthly. She used to email me every week, sending me pictures of like her family and how well they're doing. And
So you got to
stuff.
watch these girls progress afterward?
The victim that I was talking to about,
Yeah.
she ended up getting married.
Cool.
And they all had, and so that to me was like, oh, dude, this is why I do what I do.
Yeah. That's why we need people like you out there doing that type of stuff. I couldn't do it. I admit it right now. I'll do anything. I'd sign up for firing squads to kill those dudes. I'm in for almost. I'm that dude. Hell, hey, I got an idea. I'm in. Let's roll. That one, I'm resigning. I'm quitting on the spot. It would ruin me, man. It would ruin me. Like I've had opportunities to get kind of tied into some of these they're hunting these dudes down. And
But again, too, it's all about the victims, man.
I know.
You know,
It's not, see that I don't look at it. I want to inflict as much pain and suffering on
I would
people.
love to do that. Yeah, if they allowed me to do, yeah, of course. But I always think about the victims, man. I always think about the victims.
Tough. That's a tough one.